Before you get started, just make sure you take the negative terminal off your battery. That is the black side. Take that off and suspend it somewhere so it doesn't come into contact with the battery terminal while you're working on your stereo setup, so you don't run the risk of messing up some of your electronics or shocking yourself. I'm updating the stereo to a Bluetooth head unit. I've got this cheapo Jensen head unit, but it does have Bluetooth, so I can stream my music from my phone to my truck. I decided to hardwire this thing, so I'm not using any third-party harnesses. This is just stock wiring from the truck connected to the wiring that will connect to your new head unit. Now, generally on this side of things, where you have your standard purple, green, white, black, red wires, the old Dodge wiring is kind of a mess to look at. You can see you've got brown and yellow and orange and blue. I am going to create a list for you and just show you what is connected to what. Obviously, I think it should apply for other trucks made by Dodge in this time period, but this is a 1999, and I'm going to connect everything up and show you that it does in fact work. Please keep in mind, I am not a professional installer. I just did this using other tutorials online and reading a couple forums. So let's get this all put together, and I'll talk about it a little more. Now, this in-dash kit right here is kind of like a 1 1/4 DIN setup. It's not just a 1. It has that little section here where you can put maybe like, I don't know, your CD or maybe a key or something in there. Not a lot of space to put stuff, but it does fit here in this area nicely. You do have to trim. I cut off this plastic side here, the 2 or 3 on the bottom right there, as you can see, and I did cut off the top of that there. Now, it does take a little bit of force and finagling and bending to get that in there, but it does in fact fit. Just make sure you don't over trim and accidentally cut off something that you would need for support when you're pushing on buttons of the stereo. Now, I know this is kind of common sense sort of stuff, but you just slide the head unit into the mounting system here, and you'll just, these small tabs here on the side that you can see on the bottom, you'll just bend those back to make sure that this doesn't pop out. I know it seems simple, but some people don't know this, so hopefully that is an added detail that might help you out. So I got everything mounted. As you can see, there is something kind of wonky out of place. There are 2 bolts up top right and bottom left. However, when this is mounted with just those 2 bolts, you do have quite a bit of side-to-side wobble. I don't really like that. When I go to push buttons, I don't like the system moving. So I just drilled a small hole through this plastic tab and into this plastic portion underneath the vents. Now, what you don't know about behind the dash, shouldn't really matter, but yeah, it's a little ghetto, but it works. That'll hold everything in and make sure everything's nice and stable. It's kind of unfortunate that there aren't more screws to hold this in place with the stock system, but that's how that goes. Let's keep putting it together and fire it up. Again, might be overkill, but yeah, if you couldn't get to that spot where you're actually having access to the stereo, it's literally just a set of pins going around the outside of this dash. And thankfully, this is a super easy setup. You literally just push, snap it into place. A little bit of force here and there, not a ton. You can kind of see that pin right there. You just kind of pop it in. There we go. Everything is nice and flush. You can see the new stereo fits in there nicely, and it doesn't have any wobble, and that screw is hidden, so nobody should know. Everything is all hooked up, and the dash is back in place. I do want you to know, for this setup, I did use a soldering iron to connect all the wires together, and then I just wrapped it in some electrical tape. I know there are several methods of doing it. That just felt the most secure to me, and hopefully it shouldn't wear out over time. I've got it all connected again as far as the battery goes, and then we'll just give it the old test to make sure things are working. There we go. I'll turn that off so I don't get dinked by YouTube. But all right, there's a new setup. This is a new in-dash stereo for the 1999 Dodge Dakota. Like I said, I'm not a pro installer. I will mention, I'm gonna hop out of the truck here and show you. I had seen a couple folks mention on some forums that after doing this, you kind of got some daytime running lights. To be honest with you, I don't really know if those were on all the time prior, but after doing this setup, they are definitely on when the key is in the on position now and when the truck is running. So, yeah, it's an old truck to me. I'm just gonna call it good enough for today. Hopefully this helps you out. It was kind of a trick figuring out those wires and what connects to what, but feel free to like or subscribe. I do work on my Dodge a lot. It's an old truck and it's a lot of fun to work on. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time.